Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. Today's video is actually going to be a little different than what you're used to seeing from me. I know on this channel I normally do sustainability tips, life advice, and unboxing videos. And this kind of falls under like the advice column, but it's not a Sessions with Cheryl video. And I love doing the sustainability and unboxing videos because that is a hobby of mine and a passion of mine. And one of my goals for the new year was to be more intentional, and that included with where I spent my money and with what I brought into my home and my life. And so that has been super fun, and I will continue to make videos like that. But today I want to talk about goal setting. And if you follow me over on Instagram, then you'll know this is something that I talk about a lot. It's kind of my whole thing that my Instagram is about. I have an Etsy shop with a daily planning notepad that I will link down below that helps you with goal setting. I have a free goal setting guide you can download on my website. I will also link to that below. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about the 4 things that we typically need in order to reach our goals. So backing up from that for a second, typically whenever you set a big goal, there's a couple obstacles in the way of achieving that big goal, which is normal because if it was easy, then you probably would have already achieved it, right? So I have found that when setting a big goal, there are typically 4 things people need in order to get themselves there. And sometimes you may only need 1, sometimes you may need all 4. It just depends. But the 4 things are time, money, energy, and knowledge. So typically you're going to need 1 or more of those 4 things in order to get you from point A to point B where you want to be. So like, for example, one of my goals was to start a YouTube channel. So I just went to YouTube to learn how to do it's completely free to do, so I didn't need more money. I have plenty of time because I'm single, I live alone, I have no kids. So my evenings are pretty much free, my weekends are free, so I didn't need time. I didn't need energy. I had plenty of energy to do it, but I needed know-how. So I just went to YouTube and figured out how to start a YouTube channel. It's pretty simple. So that's kind of what I mean. So like whatever your goal is, just figuring out which of those 4 things or how to get which one of those 4 things, if not all of those 4 things, how to get them. So I just wanted to share some ideas on how you can create more time, energy, money, and knowledge for yourself so that you can go after your biggest goals. Okay, so without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and dive on in. Okay, so number 1 is needing more time. This is probably the single most common one that I hear is that I don't have time. Like I want to write a book, but I don't have time. Or I want to get in shape, but I don't have time. Or I want to, whatever it is, I feel like this is the most common one. So I want to share with you 5 tips on how to create more time. But I want to give you some tough love here. If you're sitting down to watch this video, if you're watching this video while you're doing something else, okay, then you're managing your time wisely. But if you're just sitting down and watching this video and you're not doing anything else while you're doing it, you have time right now. So maybe quit watching this and go do the thing that you want to do. If you're listening to this while folding laundry or something, then more power to you. You're already managing your time wisely. But my tip number 1 is to outsource. Outsource what you can. Now I realize sometimes these tips are going to require other things. So like to outsource something that might require you to have some money. But I'll get to the money tips later. But if you have money, then outsourcing is a good option for you. If you're a mom, you could outsource childcare, even if you just have somebody watch your kids for 1 to 2 hours a day. And maybe you could get your mom to do it for free or something. But if you could outsource childcare and free up some of your time so that you could work on your goals, that's one way to do it. You could outsource other things like chores. Like you could outsource cleaning your house by hiring a cleaning lady, or outsource whatever DIY project you're working on. Maybe like you've been saying you're gonna paint this room for forever, and every Saturday you'll like start and stop and start, maybe it's just been a nightmare for you, then outsource that thing. Hire somebody to paint that room. Another thing you could outsource is like your grocery. Like instead of going to the grocery store, you could pay the delivery fee to have your groceries delivered, and you can just shop online. Okay, so number 1, outsourcing. Number 2, automate. Automate as many things as you possibly can. If you're somebody who sends a lot of the same email, like say you get questions about a particular thing a lot, create an automated response, and you can just like copy and paste that into change their name. Don't forget to do that. Maybe customize it a little bit, but then automate. It'll save you time from having to write the same email over and over again. Another way you can automate is you can invest in a Roomba. Again, that requires some money, but invest in a Roomba to outsource your vacuuming to your Roomba, or to automate your vacuuming. You could also automate, like if you work on social media, there's a lot of things where you could like automate blog posts or automate podcast episodes or automate Instagram posts or whatever. So automate as many things as you possibly can. You could even automate, like if you buy the same things every single week, there are services where you can like automate your grocery delivery. I know like Imperfect Foods, you can set things to be delivered every single week if there's something recurring that you need. So that's another way to do it. Okay, so tip number 3 is to create a not to-do list. Sometimes the best way to free up some time is to just say no to things or to just not do them. Like there are things that you could just not do. Like I talked about the painting the room example. Does it really need to be painted right now? Like maybe right now you're in a push season in a different aspect of your life. So maybe just put that off for, like, it doesn't have to be done right this second. Or like if you don't get your garden planted this summer, is it really going to be the worst thing that you don't have the best flower beds on the block? Maybe you just skip that for now and just don't do it, like just don't do it. So there's some things that you could just completely cut out and just not even worry about them for the time being. If you just really need more time, there's some things you could just not do. Just let go of them. Okay. Number 4 is to ask for help. This kind of goes with outsourcing, but if you genuinely can't outsource and you like don't have the money to, and I'll get to the money tips, I promise, but ask for help. There are people in your life who care about you and want to help you. And I know you want to do it all and be it all and be the perfect mom and wife and be productive and be the perfect business owner or whatever it is you want to do, the perfect student. Ask for help. If you're a student, ask somebody in your class for help studying or to see their notes when you need it. If you're a parent, ask other parents if you could switch off play dates so that way you get some time, and then in return later you'll watch their kid and give them some time. There are always ways there are people around you that want to help you, and there are ways you can trade off if they're not just gonna like give you their Saturday for free, which makes sense. But ask for help. Anybody who says they do it entirely alone, it is lying to you. And if they are doing it entirely alone, they're definitely not doing it all. So if you want to have it all and you want to have this great life that you're living, but then also be able to go one step further and go above and beyond and pursue these massive goals that you have, then do not be afraid to ask for help. People need help all the time, and to pretend like you can just do it all and have it all and be it all alone is a disservice to everybody. So please, please, please ask for help. Okay. And number 5 for creating more time so you have more time to go after your goals is to say no to things. You do not have to do everything. This kind of goes with creating a not to-do list, but this is more like setting a boundary with other people. So like your not to-do list is like your task that you have on your list that you can like let go of. And this is more saying no to other people. Like maybe you just can't volunteer for the spring dance this year at the school. But come fall, after you've accomplished whatever, then maybe you could work the concession stand for homecoming or something, trade off. But like, it's okay to say no to things right now. And I know that can be hard because people ask a lot of us, but sometimes you just have to be like, you know what? I have to protect this time. Maybe your friends are like, hey, let's go out. And it's like Wednesday night and you set aside Wednesdays for, I don't know, doing whatever it is, taking that next step towards your goal. Then set that boundary and be like, I'm sorry, I can't. I set aside Wednesdays for myself to work towards my goal. But maybe I'm free Saturday. So set those hard boundaries and protect your time because it is valuable and people want your time. People want to spend time with you. People, need things from you, and that's fine, but you don't have to say yes to every single one of those obligations. It's okay to say no to things sometimes, especially whenever you're working towards your own personal goal. Okay, so that's all the tips I have for creating more time. Let's move on to money. There are so many different ways you can make money. And maybe you're like, I don't have time to make more money. I just shared some tips for you to create some time. So again, you may need multiple of these. You may need all of the 4 of these, but sometimes like the tips I have for making money will create time. The tips I have for making money will require time. And so you may have to like do both. Anyway, okay. So number 1, sell stuff online. I am 100% pro like decluttering, getting rid of stuff. And while it is easy and convenient to take all of your junk to the nearest Goodwill locations, a lot of times places like Goodwill are just so overwhelmed with donations because we live in a consumeristic world where people have a bunch of junk and they're constantly cycling through it because instead of investing in things, they'll buy cheap things and then get rid of them a year later. That's a topic for another day that I feel passionate about. But a lot of times those places are really overwhelmed. So what I like to do is to try and personally find somebody to continue the life cycle of that item. It can be harder. It can be a slower process. But one, it went to a good home. It didn't just go to Goodwill, sit on the showroom floor for a while and then end up in the landfill anyway. You personally founded a home and you made a little bit of profit from it. So you recouped a little bit of that investment and now you have some money to put towards other things. So sell your stuff online. And also just getting rid of a bunch of your stuff and selling it online will free up so much of your like mental energy and space and time, even if you're not having to manage that much inventory. So that's just a little bonus tip. But anyway, selling your stuff online. I like to use Facebook Marketplace. So that's where I sell all my stuff. Okay, number 2, get a part-time job. If you're like me, you might work 40 hours a week. I work from home 2 days a week even. And when I work from home, like it doesn't necessarily take me the full 8 hours to do what I need to do that day. So maybe I could copyright on the side, or I do this on the side or whatever. But there are ways you could get a part-time job if you don't work weekends. Maybe you could get a weekend job. I even will babysit and dog sit every once in a while. It's not a lot, maybe once every other month. So that's an option. House sitting. You could open a booth at your farmer's market every Saturday if you have something you could sell. Like I make wax melts, maybe I could do that. Or if you have a garden, you could sell your produce. But anyway, finding some sort of part-time job. Maybe you could copyright in the evenings. I have a friend who does surveys and she'll get Amazon gift cards for doing surveys in her spare time, like on her lunch break. So that is an option. Number 3, tip number 3 for making more money is to donate plasma. This is something that I'm kind of shocked more people don't do. I'm going to be honest with you. I have never donated plasma because I fainted the first time I donated blood and I'm a little nervous to go and do it. But if I'm ever strapped for cash and I like absolutely need it, this is like probably the first thing that I will do. But donating plasma is great because it helps, one, save lives. So that's super important. People need plasma. It's just a good thing to do in general. And then also, like, you get paid. And I think the first time you go, you actually get paid more than every time after that. So, like, I think the first time you can make up to like $75 to $100. And then for every time after that, you can make like $50. And you can go twice a month because you recover a lot faster because they put your blood back in. They just take the plasma out. So you can go every 2 weeks and make $100 a month just from donating plasma, and maybe that covers a cable bill, you know. So that's a pretty good option. Okay, number 4 is to start a business, and I know this is probably the hardest one to do because, you know, you might need inventory unless you want to go like the drop shipping route. To each their own on that. I don't really know a whole lot about that, but that's something you could look into. An Etsy shop. I have an Etsy shop and I absolutely love creating products for it. You could start a podcast. You could, I don't know. There's lots of ways. Create an online course, create a YouTube channel. There's tons of ways that you can start a business completely for free online. So do your research, look into that. I don't know a single person that doesn't have some sort of a business idea, and it may take money to do it, but if you recuperate that money in the long run and then you have another source of income, then you're going to make that back in no time. So starting a business is a good way to make money, or maybe even like a service. If you don't have any money for upfront costs, you could, I don't know, offer a service. If you're a grant writer professionally, maybe you could write, I don't know, people's cover letters in your off time. That's just a thought. So, okay. And finally, number 5, and I know this is probably the money tip you've been dreading hearing. Cut back. Like, if you need more money, stop spending it, you know, because most of us have, I would hope that you have money coming in every month or 2 weeks or a week or however you get paid. And if you need more money for whatever it is, then maybe stop spending the money that you are getting on stupid stuff. And this is something I experimented with in the month of April. I was doing like a spending freeze. So I didn't buy any home decor, I did go on a weekend trip with one of my friends, and I cracked and I bought some clothes like literally the last weekend of April. But for the most part, I didn't buy any clothes. I didn't buy, you know, any extras. I tried not to buy any. Obviously, I still bought groceries. I didn't restrict myself going out to eat. I still went out to restaurants to eat whenever I felt like it. I bought I still got my nails done. So it wasn't necessarily like a total spending freeze. It was more just like, I'm not bringing anything new into my life for a month. No new objects. For May, obviously, I've already bought a bunch of stuff. But like, you know, I'm trying to be more intentional about it and like not just going. My hobby was going to TJ Maxx and just strolling the aisles, and every single time I would leave with like a fake plant or a new body scrub to try or a pair of $9 leggings or whatever. And so every single time I would leave with something, and then I totally forget what I bought, and at the end of the month I was like, holy cow, I spent $200 at TJ Maxx. What did I even buy? I couldn't even remember. So just being more intentional about what you're bringing into your home. Also, my last video, my ThredUp unboxing, that's a great way to cut back on costs because it is secondhand, so it is traditionally cheaper than, or not traditionally, it's always cheaper than whatever that would retail for. So, shopping secondhand is a great way to save money. Make sure you just like know your numbers, know how much you're bringing in, know how much is going out. Figure out where you're spending money. Like for me, one of the things I prioritize is eating out. Like I love to go to restaurants with my friends pretty much every weekend. I'm going out to eat dinner with somebody, and that's something I enjoy, so I budget for that. So make sure that you're doing that, and then like take your savings off the top. So like make sure that if you need $500 a month to save up for whatever your financial goal is, or whatever goal you need more money for, take that off the top and then split the rest up after that. So that way you can make sure you're hitting that goal first. Okay, enough on that. The next tips are going to be for having more energy. These are mostly health related tips, because you create your own energy and you have to maintain that, and you have to be protective of that. And it's just like, I know it's not necessarily like what you want to hear, but it is super important. And if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not, like, I don't know, I guess just providing good energy for your body, then how can you expect to go out and achieve these amazing things whenever you just feel sluggish constantly all the time? So number one, take vitamins and supplements. I'm so bad about remembering to take my vitamin in the morning, so I've started taking it in the evening, and it's just so much easier for me to remember it. Right after dinner, I take my daily vitamin, and I take a probiotic, pre and probiotic as well. So those have helped dramatically with my gut health. I've noticed a huge difference whenever I take a pre and probiotic. And then taking my daily vitamin, obviously I don't notice a huge difference, but just making sure that I am putting those vitamins into my body is important, because I know I probably don't get all the vitamins I need in my daily diet, because I enjoy, not the best foods all the time. And rather than having to make sure I get all of these vitamins that I need in my diet, I just take them. And you know what? If you don't need them, then you're just gonna flush them out. And so, yeah, maybe you have more expensive pee, but whatever. I think it's worth your health, Daily vitamins are not that expensive. So find yourself a daily multivitamin and take it. So, those Flintstone ones your mom's forced you to take as a kid? Yeah, there's a reason they did that. So keep taking your vitamins. Okay. Number 2, prioritize sleep. This is something I'm excellent at. I always get enough sleep. Because whenever I don't, I can really tell. I'm in bed by 10:30 every single night. And I wake up early, so I have to go to bed early. I take naps when I need them. I'm good at prioritizing sleep, because I need it. And it's something that I definitely feel whenever I didn't prioritize it, and I'm a grumpy person. I'm not productive. I eat horrible. I have zero energy to do anything. I just do not feel like myself, and I have no desire to go after whatever goal it is I'm working on. I also want to warn against oversleeping, because I contend to do this as well. As good as I am about getting my 8 hours of sleep, I can be bad about, sleeping for 12 hours and then having that sleep hangover. You know what I'm talking about? Where you're you've slept so much that you're still tired. I can be bad about that, on weekends and stuff. I'll lay in bed until noon, and then get up and I don't really feel like doing anything. So I also want to warn against that. But 99% of the time, you're not getting enough sleep, and that is really going to affect your energy. And don't even try and tell me, oh, I only need 4 hours of sleep. No, you don't. 1% of people are micro sleepers, or whatever they call them. 1% of people can actually fully function on 4 hours of sleep, and you're probably not one of them. You're probably just used to being tired all the time, but that's your new normal. Get 8 hours of sleep, drink melatonin, diffuse lavender, read a book, plug your phone in another room, stop using screens an hour before bed, don't eat 2 hours before bed. Do what you need to do to get yourself in this state where you can go to bed at a certain time. Because so many people are oh, well, I don't get enough sleep because I can't sleep, and they're up watching Family Guy until 3 a.m. No wonder you can't sleep. Your TV is on, and you had a Dr. Pepper at 10 o'clock at night, hello. Anyway, I'll do a whole other episode on sleep. But yeah, so, and my sister does make fun of me. She's like, you never have a problem sleeping, but you drink sleepy time tea and diffused lavender and you have a pillow mist and this whole skincare routine and you read. I'm like, yeah, that's why I get such good sleep. But even, I get such good sleep that even when I don't do that, I can still go to sleep because I'm used, like, I just get good sleep. Anyway, do what you gotta do. Prioritize your sleep. Okay, number 3 is to exercise regularly. Again, I know this is not what you want to hear, and you kind of might think like, oh, well, if I exercise, I use my energy exercising, so now I'm not going to have energy to do whatever it is I need to do. There's a ton of science that backs up the fact that exercising boosts your energy levels. And like, I can attest to this. I'm by no means a picture of health. Like, your girl can eat her weight in chips and queso. And I do. And like that, you know, that's not what we're talking about. But I exercise about a minimum 4 days a week, typically 5 or 6. And I can tell a huge difference. Like in the evenings, whenever I come home from work, if I go to the gym, whenever I come home from the gym, I'm more productive in that like hour I have after the gym and after dinner before I go to bed. That hour, I'm more productive in that hour than if I skip the gym entirely and have 3 hours in my evening instead of my regular 1 hour. I don't go to the gym for 2 hours. I go for like 30 minutes. But anyway, like, so I get home from work at like 5:15. I'm at the gym by 6:30. I'm home by 7:30. And then I eat dinner from like 7:30 to 8. And then from 8 to 9, I'm productive. Whereas if I got home at 5:15 and I have until 9 to do whatever, I'm more productive in that small window than I am in that larger window because I worked out. And I already feel a sense of productiveness because I went to the gym and I have this like, I'm just ready to go still. And I come home and I get stuff done rather than coming home from work and being like, oh, well, I guess I'm done for the day. Like, I've sat at a computer all day. Now I'm going to sit in front of a TV the rest of the day. And it's just it's not conducive to the lifestyle I want to live. So getting exercise in will boost your energy. I promise. Okay. And then the last tip number 5 for increasing your energy is to just do less. Do less stuff. And this kind of goes along with the time tips of like saying no to things and having a not to do list, but it really is like people take on way too many things and are spinning way too many plates and they're gonna fall. And so you really just need to pick a couple tasks that you do at a time. Like, you can't have 10 goals at once and be trying to change your life and be on a health and fitness journey, and like, it's hard. Build one habit at a time. Like, literally, so I'm just going to use like my health journey, for example. I quit smoking 9 months before I started going to the gym. And then I went to the gym consistently for like 5 months before I started packing salads for lunch instead of, I don't know, sandwiches, you know, and I started making healthier choices. And now that that's a habit, I did that for like 3 months before I started making protein shakes to drink in the morning, you know? So I create habits before I stack it on top of the other one. So I'm no longer having to think about those things. They're a habit, and then I can build on it, and I'm slowly getting healthier and healthier and healthier. But I wasn't like, okay, starting tomorrow, I'm going to change everything about how I fuel my body. Like, that's not how it works. So, don't try and take on everything at once. And then also, if you already are feeling like overwhelmed and stressed and like you're just, at the end of the day, you are just like so freaking drained and you had no time for yourself, then like you just need to do less things. Whatever it is you're doing in your free time, do less of it. Or whatever it is that you're saying yes to, do less of it. Maybe you need to resign as PTA treasurer. Maybe you need to, I don't know, stop volunteering for 8 different missions at your church. I know those sound like those are good things. Like, volunteering is good. Being involved in your kid's school is good. But you have to take care of yourself first. And like, I know that's easy for me to say because I have like no kids or whatever, but it really, like, you have to prioritize yourself first. So please, if you do not have energy because you're doing everything for everyone else, please, please, please prioritize yourself. Prioritize your sleep. Say that 3 times fast. Prioritize your sleep. Prioritize what you're eating. Prioritize exercise. And just prioritize like yourself, your own personal well-being. Okay, so those are my 5 tips for energy. Okay, and then lastly, knowledge. Obviously, a lot of times whenever we have a goal, we don't know how to get there. We know what our goal is, but we have no clue how we're gonna get there. One goal that I am thinking about at the moment is I think I want to move to Puerto Rico. I know that sounds crazy, but I think I want to move to Puerto Rico, and it's something I've been thinking about. I don't know for sure if it's something I'm gonna do because my whole family's here and I've renovated this house. And anyway, it's just something I've kind of been feeling drawn to, and I've kind of been feeling like, I don't know, whatever. That's just the example we're going with. But I don't know how I was gonna get there. I was like, how would I even make that possible? So I started researching jobs in Puerto Rico. I work for the federal government. The U.S. owns Puerto Rico, so I could just have my same job and transfer to the Puerto Rico office. Okay, so there's that option. I have dogs. I'm gonna have to take them with me. I had to do research on that. So I've been like watching YouTube videos, Googling things. If you've never seen Caribbean Life on HGTV, it's very helpful as well. But there, I'm doing my research. So definitely do your just Google it. Like Google things, YouTube things. So that way you have an idea of how, like, there's so much knowledge on the internet for free. Like, it blows my mind. You can literally learn anything online 100% for free if you just Google it. And I know that may take some time and you may have to look through a lot of different, results, and it could take a while to research all of the things that you need. But if that's really something you want, then maybe take that time to do that and to research it and find all the different sources and check to see if it's valid, and just, like I said, you can learn anything for free. There's nothing on, like, there's no knowledge that you would need that isn't already somewhere on the internet. So Google it. If you need to know how to do something, Google it. That's my first tip. I know it's time consuming, but do it. Okay. Tip number 2 for gaining more knowledge on how to get from point A to point B: online courses. When I wanted to start a blog, I bought an online course. It was super cheap. It was $25. But it was helpful. Did I use all of it? No. But there were some things in there that were super helpful that I didn't know. There's online courses for gardening. There's online courses for starting a podcast. There's online courses for growing an Etsy shop. There's courses for Word and Google and all that. If you want to get certified in that, there's a course for anything. You do have to pay for these, but I will say the information is typically more streamlined and it's already kind of been authenticated, whereas like a Google result, you have to be leery because maybe things have changed since that was published. And so typically your courses are going to be a little bit faster route, but they do require some investment. But again, we already talked about how to make money, so that's an option. Okay, so number 3 for how to gain more knowledge is college or certification program. If you are like miserable in your job and one of your goals is to get a new job, maybe you need to go back to school. Maybe you want to get a promotion. I used to be a high school teacher, and if I wanted to move up into like administration or something, going back to school is going to be something that I had to do. I'm no longer in that field, but if that's something you want to do, you're going to have to go back to school. Or there's certification programs. If you want to change career paths, certification programs are great because they're cheaper than college and they normally don't take as long. And And a lot of those, like, you can make really good money doing things that do not require a degree at all. Like, you can go to an 8-week or like semester long certification course and have a career. And that's just awesome to me. So, certification course is a good one. Okay, number 4 for gaining more knowledge is to find a mentor. If you know somebody and you like look at them and you're like, I want my life to look like them, then ask them to mentor you. And obviously, like, you know, their time is valuable. So make sure you have a good relationship with them, or you may even have to pay them. But find a mentor, find somebody whose advice you're willing to take, who is where you want to be. And like I have a counselor who I adore. She's great, Cheryl, as you know. And I get a lot of my relationship advice from her because I look at her marriage and I'm like, that's something that I want. And you know, my parents are divorced. Most people's parents, actually half of us, our parents are divorced statistically, you know. And a lot of my friends are, you know, in younger couples, so, you know, they haven't been at it as long. So I look at her and her successful long marriage, and I'm like, I want to be like that. So mentor me in building that kind of relationship. And she mentors me in a lot of other things, obviously. But yeah, so find somebody that you look up to that is where you want to be, and ask them to be your mentor or hire them to be your mentor. Okay, number 5 is to just start doing it. Sometimes the best way to gain knowledge and figure out how to do something is to just start doing it. Like, for example, I did not take a course on how to open an Etsy shop. I didn't take a course on how to grow it. I didn't do any of that stuff. I literally went to Etsy. I was like, create a listing, and that's what I did, and it's just on there, and like that's it. It cost 20 cents. So like, just do it, and then from there you can try different things and see what works and see what doesn't. Same thing with like gardening. It's summer here, so I'm in the gardening mood. But I have bought plants that I'm like, I do not know how to take care of you. I've planted a vegetable before that did not even look at when the growing season is for this part of the world or how much water or sun they need. I just planted it. A lot of them died. So maybe research that before you waste your money on plants that you're going to kill. But, you know, if you don't want to do that, then trial and error is a great way to learn. So just start, just go for it, and you're gonna learn over time by practicing. Sometimes it's just the best way to do it. So anyway, those are my tips. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope that you're able to use these tips to create more time, money, energy, and knowledge so that you can achieve your biggest goals. If you don't already, follow me over on Instagram, where I share all kinds of goal setting, productivity, habits, mindset, all that kind of stuff. If you like this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up or subscribing, and I really appreciate it. I will see you next time.